If you want it, you can grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something, if you need it, you can grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something.
Hi guys, this is Gabi. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for subscribing to our channel. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much, and thumbs up and keep it going, right? Today I'm alone again, and as promised, today I'm going to tell you about how I started being a tour guide and how it all gets started. Because remember, I never had anything to do with being a tour guide. I didn't know about being a tour guide. I did all kind of jobs. I learned to be a cosmetologist. I was self-employed. I had a restaurant. I worked in offices as saleswoman and God knows what else, but never was I before a tour guide. So that was totally new. Later on, I also will tell you about my worst tour ever up to this date. It was an absolute nightmare and never forget it. And it was like also in the first 3 months. So I will tell you about that later. So before I even got started, they put me on a bus. I had 3 tours where I went as a trainee tour guide. And had a very experienced tour guide with me, thanks God. And she was so good. She had so much knowledge. She did seem to know just about everything. I was totally intimidated, and I thought I never ever can do it like her. She was so good, really, and I learned a lot from her. Bless her heart. So in the beginning I started writing down, but she was so fast and so much things just keep going that I just forgot it, and I just listened, enjoyed the tour, and just tried to memorize as much as I possibly could. The third tour I went on was with a Jamaican guy, and it was quite interesting too because he didn't do much. He just said hello and goodbye at the end, and the rest of the tour in between also he was just sleeping. So no learning for me there, but it still was very fun. Well, then finally came the day when I had to do my own first tour. I died. I mean, I had so much butterflies, I can't even tell you. Like days before, weeks before, it's just awful. I just didn't know enough, and I was a shy person as I am up to this date. It was just awful, just awful. So they picked me up. My boss lady, she was sitting in the car, and it was so funny because of course she knew how I was nervous and totally, you know. And she just said also, Gabi, don't worry, man, from Ocho Rios to the waterfalls, it's just really a short drive. You don't have to worry. You won't even have hardly time to see anything at all except how things run at Dunsborough Falls, and that's it. Like, so don't worry and just tell him anything. She literally really said that. But it didn't help much. I still was a nerve wreck. So after a long drive, for me seemed like to be forever, we reached at Ocho Rios Pier. I remember, like, winter season in Jamaica is a tourist season with the ships, where all the ships come in, different ones, even AIDA and all sort of ships. So of course I only was working with the German speaking tourists, and I was told to go to such and such bus. And I had to wait, and you really have to wait a long time until all the tourists come out, and I was so nervous. I know I mentioned that before. So finally I heard like, Gabi, your people are coming. So I went there to pick up my people, carry them to the bus, say hello to everybody, try not to show them how nervous I was, with my biggest smile, my nicest smile. And after I collected everybody, most important, I counted all of them. I think I had the first time like 20 people or something like that in the bus. I don't quite remember, but at least 20 too many. Thanks God, again, I had a really wonderful, nice bus driver, elder gentleman who was so experienced, he just knew it all. Of course, in the beginning I told him how nervous I was. And he said, don't worry, I will help you. It's not far, we just drive like this 5-10 minutes, maybe something like that. And then we reach Dunn's River Falls and I will carry you all the way. And I will show you where to get the shoes and to get a guide and how everything there works. And then you give them a time, like hour or 1.5 until they meet back at the bus. That's what we did. So he really literally went with me all the way and showed me everything. Of course, I try not to have the tourists that notice that because I'm so experienced, right? Funny was, I remember every time you're working with the ship people, you carry this lollipop thing, this round long thing there. So I did feel quite foolish with that, really. And I remember the biggest thing was that everybody came back to the bus, that I had my 20 peoples back, nobody got lost or anything like that. And I made sure I counted all of them, and wow, lucky me, they were all 20 there, so we carried them back to the bus. So that was my first tour. I literally really didn't say much because there was not enough time, so just the basic thing about the size of Jamaica and population and stuff like that. So whew, I survived that one. Then my second tour, like week or two after, was a shock to me because it was one of the longest tours which exists in Jamaica. It's like about 3.5 hours drive now. Back then we had the old road and it did take a lot longer. So I was like, what the hell I'm going to say so long? I mean, 3.5 hours coming and 3.5 hours going, and I was like, oh my god. So all the reading I did and memorizing and asking people about details and stuff like, but you have to keep that in your head and you remember it at the right moment. And that was quite challenging. I had to get up early in the morning, like 3 o'clock, yeah, so I was ready like 5 o'clock down on the main road. From my home it was like a 50 minutes walk approximately. So I was there all alone by myself. It still was dark. The bus came, picked me up, and a few tourists already in there, very tired. I was tired, and I just tell them hello, and I told them how the tour is going to be, and I told them also that we are going to have breakfast first at Hart Hotel. And after that we will pick up the rest of the people. So after we went to Hart Hotel, which I can recommend to everybody. It's really a nice place. You have a great view from there, and they have a lovely breakfast there. A nice service, really. And so we had breakfast there. Meanwhile, me and the driver were sitting on an extra table, and he briefed me shortly about the stops we are going to make, and you know, stuff like that, and shopping, and you know, whatever else we are planning to do that day. I told him also that I was very nervous. By the way, I never told any one of the tourists that it was my first, second or third tour. I always just make it seem like I'm full of knowledge and I know it all, like, because I think that would have just made me more nervous. So I never told him that. So I kind of survived all the way to Port Antonio. Port Antonio, I'd never been there before by myself. Because I guess because it's so far from Montego Bay, and I was amazed. It was so beautiful and so green. I mean, everywhere in Jamaica is green and beautiful. I couldn't tell you which place I like it most because I like the entire island, but Port Antonio just seemed even more greener, more beautiful, lots of waterfalls. We also went to Somerset Falls, which is just amazing. You have to go there and see that. And then we went to Frenchman's Cove, so they could swim there, and we did have lunch. So breathing time for me. I finally made it there. I had really nice guests. Lucky me, they didn't want to know so much about history and stuff. They are more interested, how do you get to Jamaica? Do you like it here? Are you homesick? How long are you planning to stay here? And stuff like that. So somehow, you know, we just passed the time. On the way back, they were so tired they didn't say much, and that was good for me too, and that's how I did survive my second tour. Okay, meanwhile, I practiced some more. My friend and I, we rehearsed each other, and we learned as much as we could about the Taínos, the Spanish in Jamaica, the British when they came to Jamaica, and everything possible about the flora and the fauna and the animals who live there, and the birds and the bees and God knows what else. And we try to remember as much as possible. Now, my worst tour, I mean, that was an absolute nightmare. I will never forget it up to this date, trust me. I think we had like 14, 15 people or something like that. We had 2 coasters. I think one coaster counted 19, 20 people, something like that, if I remember it well. So they had space, right? And they had a little luggage with them because we were to stay in Stony Hill overnight, so everybody carried a little bit of luggage. So the first thing I found out was my mic wasn't working. Absolutely great. I mean, the worst thing for a tour guide is like your mic doesn't work and you have to shout and scream the entire time. It's like after 1 hour you don't have a voice anymore, and even the people in the back still say, oh, I can't hear you. So it's just awful. But after about 45 minutes we realized we had some engine problems. So before we reached Ferry's Cross, the driver made a couple of calls to tell them to send another bus. Finally reached Ferry's Cross, we had to switch buses, one of them being smaller. So now some people had to go in the next coaster, some stayed in the minibus, and nobody was happy. Everybody did complain, we don't have enough space and this is just impossible and we have to wait so long, and they just went on in the most way. So even the driver just keep on saying, no problem, Jamaica. I mean, for them it was like big problem, and for me I was dying already and I wish I was home in my bed. So we continued our tour somehow. Lucky, my mic finally was working and we went to Black River. The next thing happens, which hardly don't ever happen to me in all those years, we didn't see one crocodile. So the guys were like, oh, this is just a joke, there are no crocodiles anywhere, no crocodiles live here in Jamaica and this is just a big fake and just money making thing, and I just prayed for a crocodile to show up, but they never did. Then they didn't like the food at Black River, which is always nice and lovely, don't people? And they didn't like it. Then on the way to Kingston, they didn't like the road, they're too bumpy, the driver drive too fast, then him drive too slow. Then the air condition, they don't like it too cold, and we open the window, this is too hot. So no matter what you did do, also you couldn't please them, none whatsoever. So when we make a stop at Devon House, the tour guide there, she came out on the steps like us, and she looked at us and took me to the side, like she said, are those your people? And I said, yeah, they're my people. And I told in the short story like us, and she said she could see it from far away how miserable they are. So we did do a quick tour on Devon House and then went to Stony Hill, to our hotel, which Stony Hill has a great view looking down to Kingston, especially at night. It just looks really awesome. But my tourists, there was this one couple. They changed rooms 3 times. One time the room didn't have an AC, only a fan. The second time it was a lizard in there. And the woman is scared of lizard or whatever. So finally the guy who worked there, so he kind of run out of options. So he showed them a next room, a 3rd room. And there was no other room they could share or switch or whatever. So they had to take that room or one of the other 2. So they decided to stay there. By the way, my friend and I, we later got that room without the AC, and it was just wow. It was nice, big, cozy, and it was a wonderful room. In the morning they didn't like it. Breakfast, oh, I totally forgot, in the evening the driver and we were discussing to leave the bus. We literally thought about just leaving them there and going back home, don't care how. But if I have to go by foot. Because they were so miserable. The bus drivers were miserable, we were miserable, it was just a nightmare. So the bus driver, they said, alright, we will carry them back to Montego Bay. You guys just go home also, we will do it. That was so sweet. But then my friend and I, we said, we can't possibly do that to you 2 nice drivers, helping us all the way and being really so nice and sweet. And so we decided, alright, we stick to it and we somehow will survive tomorrow, the next day, and we'll get it over with. So we stayed. So for breakfast, of course, they didn't like breakfast neither, right? They didn't like a windy road going through the hills, which I think is one of the most wonderful roads in Jamaica from a scenery like, and everything is just so nice. They didn't like it. And then best of all, it started raining. Yes, it rains in paradise. Otherwise, things wouldn't be so green. But they said, why is it raining here? We didn't book rain. I could stay in Germany then. And I was like, well, I can't help it, I'm not God, and I can't do anything about the rain. So when we stopped at Castleton Gardens, doing a tour there, looking at the flora and fauna, had this nice guide there. They were just miserable. So we did do a quick short tour, trust me. And on the way back to Montego Bay, we made a couple of more stops, trying to maybe eventually still please them somewhere, but the rain just wouldn't stop. It rained, it rained, it rained. Like the sky was crying too. For us, maybe, I don't know. And when we reached Montego Bay and we came out of the bus also, I was like, oh my God, it's over. Of course, the people complained later. We didn't get any tip, never mind. No. And they complained later at our company and how the drivers were so terrible, and the tour guide, of course, were the worst ever. And it was a nightmare. But our boss lady, she stuck to us, and she really was on our side. Because she knows from experience how some people are just so lousy and miserable. So I guess that was it for today. Now you know a little bit about my story, how I became a tour guide. Maybe one of those days I will tell you a little bit more about it. I thought maybe the next video gonna be about some of my favorite spots in Jamaica, which are plenty. So I only can pick a few at a time, and that's the plan for next time's video. Thank you for watching. Take care of each other, and don't forget to subscribe. Love you all. Bye bye.
Yeah, your heart is the sun, and it shines as it opens.
Where your heart is the sun, and it shines as it opens.
Yeah, your heart is the sun,